The final developer to face the Dealmakers is Callum Bartlett from Timaru. Callum, hi, welcome here today on The Deal.
Thank you, Ed, for having me.
Now, you've come up today from Timaru to talk about this specific property. How are you feeling?
Good, pretty good.
Any nerves in there?
Just the normal, really, nothing too major.
And how have you been preparing for this pitch today?
I essentially haven't really prepared that well for it, but I'm here.
And I know that it's not just this property in Timaru you're developing at the moment, but you're one of Timaru's most prolific developers.
I would say I'm in the group of the prolific ones, but yep, I'm definitely there.
And just before I let you go upstairs, anything you're worried that the Dealmakers might ask you about?
No, not at all.
Callum, we wish you the best of luck today here on The Deal, and we look forward to speaking to you after your pitch to the Dealmakers.
Thanks, Ed.
He may be a builder of many properties, but is clearly a man of few words. How will this stoic nature be received by the Dealmakers?
Good evening, Dealmakers. My name's Callum Bartlett. I'm from Nexus Group in Timaru, and I am pitching you tonight my 24A Grants Road product. It's a So what we have here is a 3-bedroom townhouse, which I call a townhouse. It's in Marchwiel, Timaru. We've got rental appraisals for up to $500 a week, and the price tag on this property is $550,000. And that's pretty much the gist on it. And do you have any questions?
So is it this one or this one?
This one.
Right. 24A Grants Road, 550K. What size is the property?
It's a 100 square metre house
Small.
with a roughly 500 square metre section.
Where's the garage?
There is no garaging on these.
What has it got?
Car parking wise, it's got ample car parking for 2 cars. You can possibly fit 3 on it.
So just a parking bay?
It's a parking bay that is 6 metres wide by 6 metres deep. So ample room.
And what do people do about storage then?
So inside the house, there's full built-in wardrobes right throughout the house, laundry, which is built-in cabinetry.
Hi Callum, I'm Slade. Can you tell me a little bit about Nexus Group?
So Nexus Group was a family business to start with. It wasn't called Nexus Group, it was a family business doing plumbing and drainage. And I was effectively doing property development on the side. And I took over the family business, rebranded it, and ended up with multiple plumbers and ended up with builders in-house, just doing bits and pieces for maintenance work, as well as doing my property development on the side. And then we started building the houses in-house ourselves.
Okay.
How long have you been developing?
About 8 years.
8 years. And how many projects have you done in that time?
This year we've ramped up a bit, so we've got 5 on the go, 6 on the go at the moment, varying from a $200,000 reno for an investor to up to a $1.5 million house. And prior to that was all just small, tedious little single jobs by myself.
$1.5 million house in Timaru.
Yeah. 6 Seaview Terrace.
Oh, sorry?
Number 6 Seaview Terrace.
And how big's that house?
It is a 220 square metre, 2-storey heritage villa style house.
Big step up from 100 square metre shed.
Definitely.
Callum, I just want to talk a little bit more about the company. Sounds a bit like it's a jack of all trades. How do you ensure quality control across plumbing, roofing, everything you do?
So in-house, we actually have separated the companies completely. They're all still under the same umbrella, but they're all managed independently via roofing manager. Builders maintain their own because they're the licensed building practitioner.
Yeah.
So they're liable for their own builds. So they maintain their own quality control. But towards the end of these projects, we actually get in an independent assessor, which is a property inspections company, and they'll come through and do a defects list and any problems, and we'll remedy them before the houses are passed on, and we'll pass on that report as well.
So given that you're relatively new to development, how many defects have you had so far? What does the defects list look like?
The defects list for the 24A Grants Road was some carpet seaming joins, just some paint touch-ups, and I believe that was about it.
So this is almost finished?
This one is finished.
Okay.
Hi Callum, I'm Linda. Thank you for your presentation today. Historically, hasn't Marchwiel been considered to be on the wrong side of the tracks in Timaru?
Yes, the area itself used to be known as the lower end of Timaru, but due to the fact that first home buyers have no options as to where they can purchase in Timaru for the price tag and get a reasonable bang for their buck, they've pushed into the Marchwiel area, as well as the Showgrounds development going in down the road, which is a $90 million complex that's being built. It's only 100 metres away from this property.
And what's that?
It's a heavy commercial retail complex they're doing 14 small shops. There's a barista, there's a sports bar going in, the likes of Bunnings, size, style things. And yeah, just a multi-complex.
So you have got a rental assessment of $500 a week?
Yes, I have two.
Sorry?
I have two that I have.
You said up to $500 a week. Is 500 the mid-range, the upper range?
It's very hard to get over $500 a week in Timaru and justify it.
But your assessment, is it 450 to 500 or is it?
It was 475 to 500.
Right. So
in the last 6 months in Timaru, there's only been 33 bedroom properties rented for more than $400 a week. So do you really think that 475 to 500 is realistic for this property in that area?
Based off Timaru's rental stock, Timaru's rental stock is very old, cold, out of date, generally in poor areas, generally on a cut-up site.
Poor areas like this?
Poor areas like this.
Is this a cut-up site as well?
This is a cut-up site, but it's designed to work. Whereas you get a cut-up site that's been essentially built for a rental back 10, 15 years ago and has had no maintenance done on it whatsoever and is deteriorated.
So is this a rear section?
This is a mid-section.
Okay, and what's at the front? Is it another state house?
There's a villa that has been fully rebuilt. It's been pretty much gutted and stripped back to its original style.
A state house villa?
No, a
villa?
genuine villa.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and with this model that you're doing here, so you're refurbing the front home and then developing the rear sections, does that model dictate what location you go in, or are you targeting locations that fit that model?
Not targeting locations as such, we're targeting specific properties. And to be honest, with this model, they work no matter what. They can be built slightly more cost effective. They can be situated anyway because we just changed the plan to suit. And the rental yield throughout Timaru doesn't really change depending on where you are.
Are you dictated by the zoning rules in Timaru?
We are dictated by the zoning rules, but we can happily build these in residential 1, residential 2, and that's residential 1 is where this one is situated.
What's the build time?
Build time itself is 10 weeks.
10 weeks.
It's quick.
I can't even get a deck built in 10 weeks. How do you manage to get a house so quickly?
Because I have all the builders in-house. And essentially...
What about the materials? So you've got, is this linear board on the outside?
It's timber weatherboards.
Right. Why have you gone with weatherboards that require more maintenance?
We've gone with timber weatherboards for the fact that we can get them readily.
Right.
And linear still needs to be maintained yearly.
Really?
It still needs sealed, it still needs painted, same as
Painted
weatherboards.
every year, linear board.
It is advised to paint your timber and
Have you ever
linear
heard
board
of that,
house.
Slade? Never heard of that. So this is timber because it's easier to get at the moment. Haven't timber prices gone up? Won't that push up the price of your construction?
Surprisingly, the timber prices for timber weatherboards are $2 a linear metre cheaper than James Hardie.
Really? No one wants to build with them.
Well, a lot of people are changing back to it. It lasted 100 years on villas.
Slade, you're from Timaru, right?
Born and bred.
So what do you think of the area?
It's an area that I wouldn't frequent, put it that way. It is a thriving metropolis though, Andrew. But my biggest concern here is being from Timaru, I understand the population and the growth over the past 10 years has been approximately 5,000 people. Do you think the Timaru can sustain the supply of these properties, or is the supply even needed?
In Timaru, based off the 5,000 people population increase, I don't think the houses that have been built in that time match the population increase.
Based on research?
Based on the biggest volume builder in Timaru can build 50 houses a year,
Who's that?
Stonewood Homes.
Right, so they do 50 a year.
They do 50 a year.
What do they cost for a build?
Anywhere upwards of 500,000.
Right. So you can get a $500,000 house from Stonewood, but you've got to buy the land.
Yes.
Or is that including the land?
That's generally including the land, their house and land package.
Okay. Does that make theirs a better offering?
Their houses are generally small, so the $500,000 houses are a two-bedroom.
Small.
Bedroom being 2.7 by 2.7,
What are the bedroom sizes here?
3.5 by 3.5
For all three?
for all three, for the two standard bedrooms, and then the master bedroom is 5 metres long by 4.5 metres wide.
It's all bedrooms.
It's good. There's plenty of living area in them.
And what else is included? So is a heat pump included? Is this up to Healthy Home standard?
It's up to Healthy Home standard. It comes with curtains, all the appliances that you need, fibre to the house, so essentially fibre ready, clothesline, and a letterbox.
Do you have a service level for maintenance? So if there's issues for the first period of time, will you come back and fix those up?
Yes, within the first year, we will come back and fix anything really that is our fault or manufacturer's warranty, and we will back the client up. And then the next 10 years is up to workmanship standard. So if it didn't meet the standard when it was built, it'll be remedied.
Is landscaping included?
Landscaping is included, so we do spray on lawn, ready lawn, and we do basic landscaping that's low maintenance.
Okay. Now, I want to understand the company structure. So you're a plumbing company that does development on the side. In the event of something going wrong with a product like this, who does the client have recourse with for remedying it?
So the houses are actually built under a licensed building practitioner.
Yeah. Who's that? Is that a
That's
separate
our
company?
in-house. It's our in-house builders.
Right.
So nothing that can be dissolved
Or it can. He can go under.
but he's still liable under his ticket
Right.
with his insurance and our insurance.
Right. And if he goes overseas and there's an issue, what happens then?
The standard legal channels for getting somebody to remedy their work.
Right.
So the licensed building practitioner is who signs off the house with the council, and pretty much every single person that's involved in the property is lodged with council to do for their work.
So the builder finishes the work. There's an issue because he has screwed up the roof. There's been water coming in. It's done damage to the building. He's gone to Australia. Can that client then come to you?
Yes.
Right. And you'd remedy it.
If it was a fault from installation or poor workmanship manner, then definitely. But we've got so we essentially do a third person, a completely independent person who does a defects list for us on these properties. And we finish the house and they'll go through he's a qualified builder, the guy that does it, and there's no way of getting him to change his manner. It is what it is. He'll pick up over every single detail, and we go back, do a defects list that he's provided, and we'll remedy all the issues before the house is handed over.
So Callum, you have quoted $500 a week for the rent. This area has been historically lower socioeconomic. Who do you actually see would be wanting to pay $500 a week and living in this area as a tenant?
Essentially, it would be a professional couple that wants to be on the fringes of town, and with Fonterra being out, not 15 minutes drive, 20 minutes drive, it's ideal location for them, and it's just a small family that wants to pay a bit more and actually have a warm house, rather than what they can get for $400 a week in Timaru that's freezing cold and uninsulated and just meets healthy homes.
How far away from town is it?
From the main centre, 5 minutes drive, not even that. It's within walking distance from town.
So I think the capital growth prospects are good here. It's still a relatively cheap part of New Zealand, $550,000 for a 3-bedroom house. Even if it doesn't have a garage, I don't know where else you can find that kind of thing. The yield sounds okay even at the lower end of the range. The growth in Timaru has outperformed Hamilton over the last 20 years. So I think the fact that it's a bad area, that's okay.
Callum, thank you very much for your time today. I do have concerns about the lack of garaging and lack of storage. The area, due to the fact that it's been historically quite a rough area, I think that the applicants that we may actually see could become quite problematic tenancies. And for that reason, I think for today, for me, no deal.
Thank you.
I have to disagree with Linda because tenancies, I mean, that's a property manager's job. They've got to find the right tenant for it, find someone good to go in there. There are good people in Timaru, and you only have to find one person willing to pay $500 a week, and that doesn't seem outrageous, particularly if you've got people that work at Fonterra or something like that. So I'll definitely do a deal on this.
I disagree with that. I think we need to position our investors so they have a huge range of tenants, not just one unicorn tenant that you think Linda's going to find.
Yeah, I didn't say one unicorn tenant. You just have to find one. There could be plenty of them out there. You only have to find
Shouldn't
one.
we have investments where we have a lineup of tenants? Don't you agree, Linda? We have a lineup of tenants waiting for the investment.
But you got a brand new property.
Well, it can't be a needle in a haystack looking for a good tenant.
Linda, riddle me this. Is a healthy home, is an older home that meets healthy home standards, is it cold? Or would it be, does it have to be 18 degrees to meet healthy home standards?
It does have to be in the living area though.
Right,
Yep.
okay,
But the insulation has to be Hua level.
right. Look, I'm concerned about the location, as Linda is.
Hang on, I just want to stop stay here because I need to get another person on board to be able to get one. Hang on, so come here.
No, look, you're not going to be able to convince me, mate. That I love Timaru, born and bred, but I don't love the product.
These are a good deal.
Callum, you're an intuitive guy, you're a trailblazer down there in Timaru. You're doing some great stuff down there, and doing this is really great. You must have something else up your sleeve. What's next on the cards for you?
We do have a group of 6 two-storey townhouses, so multi-units, that we are looking at doing shortly, but we're just waiting on that and essentially sitting on it at the moment.
So you're going to give me this deal, or am I going to buy this myself?
Well, for me, that sounds like it's a much better proposition in terms of rent and growth
Okay.
for our investors. What do you think?
I think we should take all of it, but unfortunately, I can't convince the sovereign of sales, it seems.
Unfortunately, Callum, on this product here, today it's not a deal for me.
It's called.
Callum, before you leave, I do just want to say, unfortunately, the rules are that they have to have 2 of us on board for a deal, but I would still look at something here, and I might look at one of these myself. Callum, thank you. Sorry, but we couldn't convince them.
That's right, thank you.
Well done, Callum.
Thank you.
Tell me, what is it like up there pitching to the Dealmakers?
It's slightly intimidating, just slightly.
Not done a lot of stuff like that in Timaru?
No, to be honest, haven't, so.
Now, you copped a bit of flack, the Dealmakers saying that the property was perhaps on the wrong side of the tracks. Is Marchwiel as dodgy as they made it out to be?
Personally, I've been living there for the last 6 months myself, and I haven't experienced anything wrong, so.
And although it wasn't a deal today, it sounds like there's going to be some follow-up from both Slade and Andrew there, interested in some of the other properties that you might be developing down in Timaru.
Yep, that would be good.
And finally, what's next for you at Nexus Group after you leave the deal today?
Essentially go and buy some more property and change up the style so it's a bit more suitable with garaging, and yeah, possibly look at doing some garaging.
Fantastic. Well, Callum, we appreciate you so much for coming in today here on The Deal. We look forward to seeing these properties be built in Timaru and upgrading that quality of the rental stock there for the tenants. Thanks so much.
Good as. Cheers, Ed.